with No Man's Sky, there is a pressure to an extent that is like, this needs to be right. There is this thing which I'm not going to talk about now. That is a plan for multiplayer and for people to have a more traditional multiplayer experience within the game. And I've just got this one opportunity. As people seem to be excited about it, I just feel that more like I have to not mess this up. I certainly never feel comfortable and confident. I'm never like, oh, people are gonna love this, you know, you're like, oh, what about this? And I hope they like that, and you know, I hope this works. When No Man's Sky launches, July 24th, you're going to be able to play with your friends. Kind of a full multiplayer experience, right? And this is something that, like, I wish we could have done sooner, but I'm so glad it's happening.
What up, Jippers? LPlay's back once again for another No Man's Sky Next update video, and of course today we're going to be talking a bit more in depth about the brand new player model art that was teased through the Waking Titan ARG. Now, I did show this in yesterday's video, so you guys have seen it by this point, but of course what we want to do today is delve into that much deeper and actually discuss my thoughts and theories about everything that we're seeing here and what that means for the game. So if you're just here to take a look at the player model, bam, there it is on screen right now. It looks freaking awesome, and I'm very excited about it. But if you are one of those people like me that loves to delve into this stuff and really analyze it and think about all the cool possibilities and things that it could mean for the update, then stick around, because that is what we want to do today, and that is what I love doing in these kind of videos. Now, before we jump into the detail, I just want to remind everyone where these images are coming from. So they are, of course, via the Waking Titan ARG. If you don't know what that is, I did make a very simple summary video explaining the ARG, what it does, and how it links to No Man's Sky. And if you are new to this, I do recommend you popping down there and watching that. If not now, then after this video, just so you know where all of this is coming from and how we're getting it. Now, let's start with this player model image that we have actually got. Of course, in typical Waking Titan fashion, what we actually got was this kind of unclear, scrambled image that we've had to rely on community members to try and unscramble and put together to give us the clearer image that we see there. Huge shout out to Wendy Petit. She was the first person that I saw on Twitter be able to actually take the scrambled image, pull it all together, and make it look fantastic like this. Now, this particular image, of course, was Element 2, which was unlocked from the Uplink Satcom-70 website. Link for that, again, will be in the description for this video. We did, of course, have the Ringed Planet image that was teased through there last week, and we are expecting another 4 teases at the end of each week leading up to the No Man's Sky Next launch on July the 24th. But that's enough dilly-dallying. Let's jump into the image itself, and I just want to talk about what I think after seeing this, and holy freaking hell's bells, this is all kinds of exciting. So I guess the first thing I want to say when I look at this image that Wendy has put together and I can actually see it in all of its glory is that the amount of detail on this is absolutely insane. It has completely blown me away. We did, of course, see a very basic version of the player model that was teased to us a while back, but that, of course, was in the hologram style. It didn't have any color on it, and it was missing some of the detail that we're seeing here. This, of course, is concept art, so it's not the exact player model that we'll see in game, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that we're going to look very much like this when we do jump into the game. So that just straight away is like, yes, this is not going to be some really basic, ugly looking player model. When we jump into Next, we are going to have loads of detail. It's going to look super smooth, and I am very excited to see it in action and actually moving around. And seeing another player looking like this for the first time is really going to be one of those times in No Man's Sky where you just kind of take a breath and are like, wow, this game is incredible. Now, before we start talking about all of the little things that I can see on the image, I just want to point out that the original scrambled image did have a load of text on there that was very hard to make out, similar to the ship image that we got teased a while back, but this time people have been able to actually read what that says. And I'm going to show that for you here. Wendy again has put that all together and made it super clear to see. We've got a heated sun visor on the helmet there, a solar shield, a blueprint projector, a life support harness, and a liquid frenium distribution system. Now that last one is really interesting because most of the other stuff kind of common sense. You can read that and understand exactly what that is, what it's going to do, and how that actually plays out in the game. But this liquid frenium thing is something I have never heard of. The first thing I did was Google frenium, try and find out what it is, and there's nothing that I could find that is actually called frenium or liquid frenium. I believe that's some sci-fi thing that they've made up for this. There are some similar types of words that relate to like human tissue and stuff, so I think what this is going to be is essentially like the life system, the life support fuel or resource that actually powers this awesome suit that our player model is wearing there. So I suspect that's actually going to be something we have to get in game, a brand new type of resource that we're going to have to try and find to keep ourselves fueled, to keep ourselves alive. It's not just going to be powering up the life support with the basic resources that we use now. I do think we're going to get a dedicated resource that we need to find, similar to like games where you have to get your oxygen or whatever. We're going to have to find this frenium, or possibly even craft or make our own frenium to keep ourselves powered, running, and alive. So that straight away is really cool. And I'm kind of getting like an almost RPG type vibe, which is kind of strange. Probably me once again delving into it a little bit deeper than I need to. It could well be that this is just a procedurally generated suit. There is some variation shown on the pictures here, different kind of helmet colors and trims and stuff like that, but they look very similar in terms of overall feel. But I don't think it is going to be procedural. I know everything in the game so far is procedural, but I also know that they do listen to us, that they hear what the community have to say, and customization for ships and players and stuff like that is something that has been talked about way back since the very beginning of the game. So I do suspect that now we're going to have our player models, now we're going to be able to actually see each other. It's going to make a lot of sense if we can actually customize our suits, give ourselves the colors, the trims that we want, collect new gear, upgrade them, all that kind of stuff to make it feel more unique to us. So that's really exciting. The only question I've kind of got is how in-depth that's going to be. Is it going to be purely cosmetic? Is it going to be I can make my suit pure orange, I can give myself a nice little orange trim, maybe tint the visor, something like that? Or is it going to be I can swap out different parts, different upgrades? When I make exosuit upgrades, are the attachments actually going to appear on the character for the first time? So the more stuff I get, the cooler I look and the more attachments I've got. And you can tell straight away by looking at someone, whoa, that's a pretty advanced player. They've been grinding. They've got all of the good gear. Just from that initial look at them, which would be pretty funny because if there is PvP and it's quite scary, the first thing I'm going to do is look at someone and go, hell no, they have got all kinds of crazy gadgets on their suit, I am not going to mess with them. And I think that could be really freaking cool if it does play out like that. But even if it is just purely cosmetic, I'm still pretty excited about that because you guys know I really want to run around in the little orange Jipper suit. I want people to look at that, look at the little full orange suit, everything orange, and say, yep, that's LPlays, there he goes. So that's a really exciting thought. So yeah, that's kind of like the first main thing I want to talk about. It definitely looks like we are getting quite in-depth character customization as part of the player models that come with the multiplayer stuff in Next, for sure. It also looks like there are specific things that are highlighted and called out here on the suit, and it could just be that they're describing what they do. We have already seen on the box art, for example, that not every player model has the same attachments and the same gear. So that is making me think that gear itself in the game is going to be a thing that we actually see and upgrade and add to the suit and build over time. So that is really cool, that kind of RPG style element being brought into the game a bit more. We actually have to go out, find stuff, craft it, make it, mold it onto our suit, and then everyone can actually see as like a status symbol that yes, you've got that stuff, you've got this good gear, you are a pretty big dog. Now the other main thing that I want to kind of talk about here is of course the blueprint projector. A lot of people were seeing that attachment on some of the player models in the box art to begin with and thinking it was a photo mode camera or a torch or something like that. But it does seem like, from what they're saying there, it's going to be either one of two things. The first thing I thought when I saw it was, oh, maybe that's like a 3D printing technology. When we get a blueprint, that little thing on our shoulder will like reconstruct the actual object. You know, it'll kind of like beam it out with its lasers and stuff and actually create and craft the items that we need. And that could explain how we actually make gear in the game. But a couple of other people have actually mentioned something which I think sounds even more likely and actually more feasible now that I've heard it. And that's that this could very much be just a projector. So we get a blueprint, that thing will display it. You know, it will pop up the little hologram of the blueprint for whatever particular item that we're going to craft. And then our player will look at that and use that to actually piece together the thing and craft it themselves. So that's really interesting. I'm kind of intrigued about whether or not we'll actually have more of an in-depth crafting system in the game. Will we be able to actually collect loads of new different resources and upgrade our multi-tools, for example, put rare isotopes in them to fire different kinds of beams, change the color of the beams, change the color of the attachments on the guns and stuff. Like, all of this stuff is like suddenly a possibility looking at this to me, and it might not be the case. It could just be these are procedural or very limited in terms of customization, but the thought of that potentially being there is really cool, right? And I'm just hoping that it does go to that level of depth, because that would be so good. But that, of course, does bring me on to one big thing that's missing from this at the moment, and that is the multi-tool. So far, all of the player models that I've seen, teased, all of the actual stuff that we're seeing, I've not seen the multi-tools on there, and I'm wondering why that is. Are they doing something big with the multi-tools? Are they getting some kind of big upgrade? Are they going to be like really, really customizable for the first ever time? And I do kind of think that there's a reason they're not showing us that yet, and that's because it's going to be a tease that we get in one of these other element drops. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. Hopefully the new multi-tool look is going to be as cool as this suit, because I am so in love with the way this looks. Just the classic sci-fi perfect look for a suit, and I'm really pleased with how well they've pulled this off. If it actually looks anywhere near this good when we see it animated in-game, it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I do just want to very quickly mention that after seeing this in color, in detail, really getting a good look at the player model and the two different kind of variations we've got here, very similar looking. There's some slight differences, but basically it's like the trim colors and stuff that have changed. I guess hinting that we're definitely going to be able to customize our look and our cosmetics on the suit. But one thing straight away that's jumping out to me and I can't stop thinking about is that when I take this and I compare that to the Dreamer image, particularly the Dreamer image that started my theory about the Dreamers being a brand new enemy race, I really do still think for sure that this player model is not going to be the same thing as the Dreamer. The Dreamer just looks so different to me. The helmet isn't just like a slightly customized helmet with a cool attachment on. It's just a completely different vibe. The horns, the weird freaking like insectoid looking bulbous eye sockets on the helmet and stuff. It just looks like something so different and so much darker and more ominous to me than anything we're seeing with the actual player model hologram animation or now these concept art teases. I just don't buy that that is just another player model. I don't believe that at all. I do 100% think that the Dreamers are going to end up being an enemy race that we have to fight in the game, and I do think that that's what the ESRB rating is talking about when it says that players will be able to defeat human-like figures on the planetary surfaces. I think that's going to be an NPC, and the Dreamer model is going to be what we go up against. Very similar to us, obviously the same kind of being, or a very similar type of being to us, to the Travelers in the game, but just a darker, warped, more evil, deranged version of that. And I think that's the perfect enemy for ground combat. And all of that, all of this, all of that, everything we're seeing here with the customization and the upgrades and the shielding and the attachments is making me think that we're probably going to get some pretty impressive overhauls and upgrades to the way that combat on a planet's surface actually works. We were kind of hoping for that because we were getting multiplayer, but the level of depth and customization and like detail on these suits and attachments and things is really making me think that they are going to be doing some pretty impressive improvements to the way that combat is going to work outside of ships when we're actually on a planet's surface. So that is really freaking cool. And I guess all I really want now is to see this actually moving in-game. Either a screenshot next of what this actually is going to look like in the game, or an animated shot, like maybe a very, very short, tiny video clip of a player running or jetpack boosting or whacking something with a multi-tool. Anything like that would just be so good to see right now, because this piece of concept art is so good, and I'm just really hoping that that transfers across as well into the game as it looks here, because if it does, then I am just so impressed with what they've done here. And I guess the only other thing that I kind of want to mention is that once again, we have not seen beneath the visor. I don't think we ever will. I don't think we're ever going to see what our player looks like underneath that. I don't think we're ever going to be told that we're human or something else or alien or creature or artificial intelligence. I really don't think they're ever going to ruin that. I don't think that's ever going to be spoiled. I think that's always going to be left up to our imagination, and I'm really pleased with that, because I was so worried that it was just going to be, yes, we're people, and even if we look at that and think we look like people, we're probably humans, and then when we're playing the game we just assume that we are. I feel like it would take something away to actually have that confirmed and to actually see beneath the mask. It takes away a bit of the magic, so I really hope they don't ever do that, because right now we've just got an awesome looking player model. We can role play as whatever the heck we want underneath that mask, and I love that so much. So yeah, please don't take that away. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. That's kind of all I want to talk about. There's a lot going on there. We still haven't seen the back of the suit. I don't know if that's just the backpack or the jetpack's on there, or maybe the jetpack's built into the boots or something. It's hard to tell from looking at this. It's only the front that we've seen. I do really want to see this in action, actually moving, actually in-game, to see if it's as good as the art. That's the only worry I've got at the moment. This art is very, very well done. I don't know if they can pull it off as cool as that in-game. I'm excited to find out. And of course, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. I'm sure there's stuff that you're noticing when you look at this that I haven't mentioned. I'm sure there's questions that you've got from looking at this. Maybe there's things that I haven't thought of. But yeah, put all of that in the comments below. I'll be jumping in there to discuss it with you guys. I love doing that. I love hearing your guys' thoughts and theories on all of this stuff. And of course, make sure you stay tuned, because we are going to be getting more teases like this every single weekend now until the update comes out, and that is so freaking exciting. I don't know what they're going to show next. What do you guys think they're going to show next? I don't think they're going to show player models again. I think we've seen a lot of player models now with the Dreamers, with this, with the Boxer, and with the original hologram player model. I think when we get something else, it's going to be something completely different now. So I am quite excited for that. What do you think it could be? And I guess we'll see if any of us can guess it correctly. After seeing this, I'm thinking maybe a multi-tool, but who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like and a comment. That stuff helps like crazy, and I will catch you in the next one very soon. Take care, guys, and peace. I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my current Patreon supporters: Shiraka Majeli, YO, Madeline J, NTB, Ovian S, Tyler D, Todd Cook, Neil B, Anarchy, Vanilla, Rasmus K, Autumn Long, Lukash, Husband Vader, Amras, Dale from the Atlas Hub, Joanne Anderson, Heath, and the Portrait Dude. You guys are the best.